used to, for the people who don't know, the Air Transport Auxiliary are the ferry pilots where there was a lot of females.
Yes, there's been some great documentaries just recently on History Channel about those young ladies.
Well, we've actually supplied information to two of the companies that's made the documentaries. And also we supply a lot of people and film people because we have a website which is airtransportauxiliary.com, and we have people looking for people who flew in the ATA as well.
Well,
also we have a website which is called poetryinaction.com, and it's one that I've been writing some time about all the air bases in Lincolnshire. It's a poem about them. I've not completed it yet, but I was asked if the aviation in Lincolnshire could actually use the poems on their audio sets, and I said yes to the guy. So if you see their website and it's on there somewhere, the poems were written by myself.
I mean, trying to get a poem that would encompass the name of every airbase in Lincolnshire in one poem, I mean, that must be a marathon, because there was just so many. I mean, I've only lived in Lincolnshire, I think, 21 years. I'm constantly surprised when somebody mentions yet another airbase, you know. There's just so many.
You can't believe the amount that there was. I mean, that's why it was called Bomber County. But if you look on that website, you'll see that I have written a poem about a lot, encompassing a lot of the people who actually designed aircraft and flew them.
All right.
But not all of them. It's impossible to put them into. Probably one day I will put them into the poem.
Yeah. Oh, blimey. I think we ought to do some recapping, John. Right, the place is Thorpe Camp Museum, yes?
The place is Thorpe Camp Visitors Centre, which is on the Coningsby to Woodhall Spa Road, which, if I remember rightly, is the B1192.
B1192.
Just outside Coningsby.
Is there a postcode for everybody for putting their sat navs?
Sorry, I'll tell it you in a minute. I've just LN4 4PE.
Yep, leaving the member for Papa Echo. Yeah,
correct.
And something in the back of my mind says that particular group of buildings were the accommodation block for the 617 Dambuster Squadron after they came back from the Dambusters.
That's right. There was also a base there. Was 97, 619, 617 and 627 squadrons.
Right.
617 was obviously the Dambusters. It was all part of RAF Woodhall Spa. It was the washrooms, the showers, the living quarters, and if it wasn't for a group of volunteers, the whole site would have been bulldozed some time ago. But obviously it's now Thorpe Camp Museum.
Yeah, and so, I mean, let's face it, there's going to be 2 days open to the public.
Yes. The 9th and 10th of July.
9th and 10th of July. It's going to have masses of demonstrations by enactment groups who are celebrating the camaraderie and the cooperation that took place.
It's not celebrating war. It's remembering the people who were actually killed during those wars. That's what it is. That's why we always, at all these events, we always have a service on Sunday to remember, and we have a wreath laying ceremony, and we've got the RAF regiment there, the veterans, and also the Royal British Legion, and there'll be a short service with all the reenactors and all the tradespeople and the general public, because the general public will have come in. The site is open between 10 and 10:30. We start if there's people outside, it will open at 10 o'clock, which it normally is. People like to get in early, and also it will close.
I'm not surprised with what they've got to see there. I'd want to get there early.
Well, the amount of military vehicles and jeeps and track vehicles, and we've mentioned a lot of displays like Forget Me Not, Land Army, Northern Forties groups, Reconnaissance Scouts, Road to Mandalay Group, Independent Field Company, songs by the Broadbent Theatre Group singers, Marlena Rube, but there's a lot more smaller ones. People come along and just put a display on. Reenactors come along and put a small even if it's only a display of prams. There'll be people pushing 40s prams in with real babies, and it's just chock-a-block. It's the most big. We've had to stop the tradespeople and displays from coming along. We've had to close it to that because we just haven't got the room for the displays. They'd be out in the car park and we want room for people to park. But the general public, yes, fine, the general public, we've also got...
I think, I am assuming it's free car parking.
It's free car parking, right. Yes, but just £3 to get in, which to me is silly, because it's £3 to get in normally for the museum, but still £3 for the event.
Yes.
You know, so it's you can't even buy a pie for that amount of money. There's over now 350 reenactors going to be there.
Wow.
Which are depicting everything from the Americans, the British, the Paras, the RAF, the Navy, you name it, they'll be there. And there'll be something going on to interest people. There'll be a guy there who comes every year who belongs to the ham radio people who are based there. You'll be able to have a look around at all the vintage radios there, and he always puts a marquee up with all the old radios. Oh, I remember one of those. We used to have one of those radios, you'll be saying. As soon as you see all the old radios in there.
Well, I can remember as soon as I was old enough, my parents used to have me every Friday night going down to Jimmy Roberts shows with me accumulator to swap it for a charge one for our radio.
We used to do that. It cost sixpence from the bicycle shop, and people used to queue up because we didn't have electricity. We only had gas in the kitchen, and my father wanted to listen to the cricket, or he wanted to listen to the Isle of Man TT or something like that. Well, as soon as he come back from the works and everything, and his Woodbine on there and listening Ed right against the radio. And the gas, we had one light in the kitchen which had a gas mantle, and because I was tall, he used to jump up messing about and break the mantle. And my mum used to say, "It's evening, go and get a gas mantle quick from the bicycle shop before they close."
Oh dear, yeah. I mean, despite the fact that it was a war, a lot of people still speak very warmly of the how people pull together.
You help your neighbour.
That's right. And that sounds to me like it's part of the theme that runs right the way through this weekend.
You'll find out that the 1940s reenactment group, well, if you need anything, they'll help out with whatever it is. If your vehicle breaks down, they'll help you. If you're missing one of these, they've got one somewhere. They'll just help, and it's unbelievable how it is. You never ever have any problems with 1940s events wherever you go in the country. Everybody pulls together, and it's a good social event, you know. And people have to have an extra day to wind down because everybody's on a high for that event.
It sounds like it's one of those few events that can be something for everyone. You've got all the static displays. You've got a nice naffy, I think you said,
yes,
where people can sit and have their homemade cakes and things.
Yes. All the cakes are lovely, they're fantastic cakes, and they're all baked by the staff who work in the naffy. It's now being extended. There's more tables in now. Pop along there, sit down, have a coffee, have a tea, have an home baked bun, cake, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Ooh.
There's homemade ice cream outside. There's something for everyone. Everyone who comes always says it's so laid back, our event, which it is. I mean, we don't find that because it's stressful for us, because a week after it finishes we begin the next year, and it takes us all that time to put all the events and all the displays and all the trade stalls, and people start booking. Oh, I want the same space I had last year. You know, it's there's something for everyone. Speak to the reenactor. They'll tell you about all the uniforms and everything that's going on, because they are that character. They get into that character, and over that 40s weekend, they are that character, whether it be civilian, whether it be in the dancing side of it. They tell you everything about the dancing, the swing, the Lindy Hop. They'll show you out, show the steps and everything. You know, you can't go wrong. And for £3 to get through the gate, you know, you'll spend that on an ice cream.
Yeah. John, it sounds an absolutely fantastic weekend. Can I thank you for taking the trouble to come in? It's been absolutely great. So, John, thanks once again for coming in.
Tony, can I just say that if they are on the internet and they go on to www.1940weekend.co.uk, they will be able to see, there's videos on there from previous ones, and they'll be able to see everything about the event.
That sounds superb.
Thank you.
Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. I can assure you.
Cheers.